I don't trade the fundamentals, but when it supports the technicals, for me, it makes a good trade.
It's so interesting. Usually everybody always goes, oh, the technicals need to support the fundamentals. You flip it around, which I think is actually the smarter way to trade, because technicals express price action. Price action is already embedding the fundamentals, and if you're just basically looking for that fundamental catalyst to push your technicals away. That's actually a really, really good way of looking at it. We have our first segment, which is I want everybody to focus on currency trade. And you guys have to pick different currency pairs, each of what you think looks good on the charts. Maybe you guys can share your charts with us. Whatever you think looks interesting to you today, what would you do? So, you're saying dollar strength, Andrew. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe dollar yen. But, you tell me.
Well, dollar yen's a funny one. I'm not going to go with dollar yen. I mean, I do actually. I mean, I can't understand why the yen is so weak at the moment, having had the news last week. I don't trade the news, but I do feel that the yen is going to in for a bit of a reversal. I'm actually going to be looking at cable, Boris, because this has been in a pretty nice little downtrend that we've seen. And you can see here on my charts. I think I'm showing the screen. But we've broken some sort of like structural support that. Basically, it has been respected for a while. See this structural support here on the 1 hour chart. We've broken through that at the moment. If you look at the momentum meter, again, my strength meter, it's showing general weakness in the pound. Now, we also have some fundamental news out of the pound currency later on in the week with the Bank of England rate decision. And I think the Bank of England are more likely to disappoint the markets with just a 0.25% rise. I think 0.25% rise is going to see the pound drop. So now we've broken this structural support. I'm looking at setting cable into this week with a long bias of the dollar. And you can see the dollar's up here, the pound's coming lower. And just for the sort of intraday chart as well, this is the 1 hour chart. You see this white line, it's pulling down now. So pound is actually the weakest currency on the basket for today. So I'm pitching the weakest against the strongest. So I'm going to basically be selling.
It's clear. I think you're right. It's clear that macro positioning ahead is that people are expecting the BOE to be dovish, and and almost because they have to be. They really, they can't raise rate. I don't know if most of the viewers may not know this, but in UK, mortgage rates are not fixed like they are in the US. And they're literally variable. And like, imagine if anybody who's got a variable mortgage in the US, I have my wife for some reason decided to take some equity loan out for like nothing, and I have to service it. It's a nightmare. It's like your interest costs are like double what they were just a year ago. And this is a problem for almost every UK house owner. So they really can't afford to just spike those rates up too high. It's just going to basically bankrupt a lot of people.
I was actually out walking the dog about an hour ago before we jumped on here, and I was just reading the news just on the BBC, and it's talking about this very thing, just the BBC News, that the fixed rate mortgages at 6.5%, and house prices are the lowest they've been, or the biggest drop in 14 years. I didn't realise that at all. I just read about it today, but absolutely, and I think the Bank of England do have to be a little bit more cautious about that. And also, if you look at, because obviously all these economies are pitching against each other, you look at the Australians last night, they left their rates unchanged. The New Zealanders have said they're pretty much done. It looks as though the Fed have only got one more left, possibly only one more left. Canadians. So everyone seems to be pausing at these levels and so forth. And I don't think the pound can do anything less than that, or the Bank of England. But that's not what's priced in. The markets were pricing in. This time last month, I would say, Boris, analysts were talking in about another 1.5 point rise in interest rates. And I don't think that's going to happen. And I think they're going to disappoint with the dovish move. And that's why I think the pound will come under pressure. I don't trade the fundamentals, but when it supports the technicals, for me, it makes a good trade.
It's so interesting. Usually everybody always goes, oh, the technicals need to support the fundamentals. You flip it around, which I think is actually the smarter way to trade, because technicals express price action. Price action is already embedding the fundamentals, and if you're just basically looking for that fundamental catalyst to push your technicals away. And it's actually a really, really good way of looking at trading.
Well, as I say, I mean, it just supports the price action for me. That makes sense, makes for a great trade. But so I'm going to be selling cable.
Okay.
So do we take trades when we're on live?
Yeah,
now?
yeah. We're gonna take it. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit of a positional trade for you, so I'm sure you're gonna have a little bit of a wider stop because you're going into the BOE meet. You can let us know what you want to do.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna let's have a look here. I'm gonna take the trade here, and I'm gonna use my. Let's have a look here. So just turn this on. Whoops, daisy, that's my calculator. So I'm gonna have my stops above 128.40 really.
Okay.
So 128. Hang on, I want stops above this level. I don't get it stopped. 128.40. So basically, my stops are going to be above here.
Right.
I'm trying to use my tool here, which doesn't seem to want to work now because I've just. There we go. I haven't got my position sizing calculator worked because we had to reboot everything.
That's all right. It's trading battle. We do maximum size here, no position size.
Maximum size?
Yeah, maximum size. Maximum.
What's the maximum size?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. You do have to ration yourself for 3 trades, Andrew. So you can't like max out the account. But
okay.
That's good. 1.5.
I'll sell half a lot then, shall I?
Half a lot is fine. Yeah. I mean, it's
okay. So we'll sell that here with the stops above. There we go. So the stops above there. I'll sell down here, and how long we got these? 4 days for these to hold.
Yeah, or up to you. I mean, you obviously can close it earlier if it goes close to your target or stuff like that. What is that little thing what is that little EA that you have that's pumping out really nice? Is that called Magic Keys? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I basically use this. It's basically my position size calculator.
Right. I know. I like the visuals of that. That's because it tells you the P&L like in really big letters.
It does everything it does everything you want to do. I mean, it really is a third-party piece of kit. I didn't come here to promote that, but it sorts out. Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah,
position sizing.
It's the hardware that also has a piece of software and kind of helps you size up your trades on MT5.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of people have seen these before, but I mean, it's a great piece of kit that basically does. Does all the position sizing. You can manage trades on it. You can sort of take your profits early and partial trades and so forth. So it really is a great piece of kit. Yeah. Having said that, because I rebooted, it didn't seem to work. Let me just find out why that's not working. There you go. So that's my my cable trade supported by the fundamentals and the technicals.
Sounds good. All right, Anka, what about you? Back to you, Miss Equity Trading. We're now going to put you into the FX world.
All right, let's do it. Okay, very few people know that I used to trade Forex a lot back in the day. So but I navigated. I got very lazy, so now I'm day trading for charts. I mean, that's pretty cool. So, all right, so let's switch things a bit, and I'm gonna go to the euro dollar, if that's okay with you guys. And I see like a lot of chop going on. I don't know if you guys can see my screen.
Here we go. For sure.
Here we go. All right. If you guys can see my screen right now. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna go far out to the monthly.
It looks like that was ECB, and then there's just chop after ECB. That's what the chart.
Absolutely, it's very, very normal. It's very normal, and yesterday's chop was very normal. It was the last day of the month. There was a lot of balancing going on.
Right.
But here we are. This is the euro dollar, and I want to bring a little bit of attention to the last candle that we have had for the month of July, which left us in a limbo. This is an indecision candle. It's a doji, so anything can happen. What I usually love about these candles is that the more they gain a little bit of strength, I like to be bullish above, bullish into this tail right here, and especially over this tail. So I love these candles because they provide me a guide, whether bullish or bearish for the next period of time. And this is a great opportunity because it's the first of the month. And if it trades below the doji bar, then I'm going to be bearish. So I'm going to be bearish, especially that this pattern has a lot of trouble into it. And as you can see, it's pretty much downtrending on pretty much all time frames. So monthly chart is really into a level of minor resistance. So it's going to have a lot of trouble here. It's going to have, it's going to need some kind of, let's say, news-driven event in order to snap it above this prior pivot that we had and this was December, I believe, December 2019. So it was quite a long time ago. So let's zoom into a little bit more current time frames, such as the daily chart, and we had 3 days of consolidation and surprise the price back into a prior pivot high that we have on the technical chart. But on the daily, things are a little bit different because they're starting to rotate towards the upside a little bit, and we have signs that the price action is going, the price action has temporarily bottomed, and we see the clear sign of a bottom, 2 higher lows, 2 higher highs. This is the definition of a major change in the trend that would be developing. So right about here, this is the bullish area. So now we've gone higher, pulled back higher. Higher highs and higher lows are still in place. So here's my trade. It's going to be placed onto the daily chart. So that is going to be a little bit more on a wider time frame. But because this is going to be the trade of the week, I'm going to be bullish above, I would say, you know what? I'm just going to take it right here. I'm going to place my stop just below this red line a little bit. And yeah, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and just buy.
All right. That's what we like. Plow right in. Guys, I'm sorry. My apologies. It's my trading view alerts going off in the background. It's just because I have like 3 other screens and I can't turn it off. So if you're hearing the rings, it's because of course those are all scalp trades going off in the US 30 and NASDAQ for me right now. So we're never away. We're never far away from trading.
No.
A bit early in the day for you to be trading, isn't it? What time is it there now? You got 7:30, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We're Anka and I are we're ready to go. So, I trade London hours, so I'm up from 4 in the morning. But
you said,
but like this is like the sweet spot of actually equities, kind of like it's the 6 a.m. to about 11 a.m. New York, which is the London morning to New York to London afternoon. That's when you get a huge amount of movement in futures, and there's trades to be made before the U.S. Open even. They're really good.
You have the power of earnings now.
Yeah, and you have earnings. You have pre-positioning. You also have like overnight. Everybody's reacting to China and everything else. Overnight news. Futures are really they're a true 24-hour instrument.